I'm back to my usual seat. Now this time I'm doing very, very personal videos, so no drama, no halabalu or whatever it is. This is day 3 of my 5-year journey in Godfidence, and I have titled this one The Robbery. The Robbery. I will never forget. It was 2nd December. I had just come back from emceeing the HR awards. Wow, that was nice. You know, we went, hung out with some friends after. And then, pause before I tell you that. You see, when you're walking with God, I like to tell people that there's always the honeymoon stage. I remember when I just accepted to give my life to Christ. That first week, you'd even be like, oh God, show me a purple bird. Then a bird will fly. Oh God, give me your ice cream with like a cake on top. Then someone calls you, oh Ruby, whatever. And God indeed gives us the desires of our hearts. But I think the true measure of faith is, are you able to stick with God when this stuff is not happening? And this is why I'm calling it the robbery. So I come back home, you know, from a long night, you know, emceeing, very good opportunity that I had got. I had shown, you know, everyone's like, oh, Ruby, da. And I come back home and I find my home open, and they have robbed me. Like, my laptop, my TV, I think money, camera, what. Just know, the thief had time. And my cousin was in the house at the time, so she had passed out on the chair. So I don't know whether they used chloroform or whatever. Now, as a Christian, you're thinking, God, how can this happen to me? If you were really there for me, how dare you? So I was really pissed. I'm not going to lie and I said that the moment I came into an empty house, I worshipped God. No, I was annoyed. And you know, the funny thing about robbery is, the worst part about robbery is not that they've taken your stuff. The worst part about robbery is the insecurity you feel after. So I remember I woke up the next day, 3rd December, with so much peace. Then it began stressing me. I'm like, why have I woken up with peace? I'm supposed to be stressed. I'm supposed to be, you know, I'm supposed to be sad. I'm supposed to be worried. Why have I woken up with? Why have I woken up with peace? God, what is this? This is not what I want. And I was reminded that, you know, the peace of God surpasses all understanding. The peace of God doesn't make sense. And I remember at the time, my cousin came to me and she's like, why are you panicking? We need to go to police. And I just looked up at her because I also didn't know why I'm not panicking. I didn't know why I'm not worried. And you know, at the time when I was robbed, everyone was telling me, you need to leave the house. What? They may come back, etc. But God somehow just got my heart like this and put a shield of peace around it. And I remember, if there is any of the best sleep I have had in my life, I had it that month after I was robbed. God gave me peace. God in that moment reminded me that, you know what, just because the purple bird hasn't come now, and now something bad has come, it doesn't mean that I've walked away from you, because I'm a God who will never leave you. I will never forsake you. I'm going to be with you through thick and thin. We are in this together. So I went to God, tears in my eyes, sadness, but He had given me peace. I went with all my anger and said, God, how could you let this happen if you really were there? And somehow, not immediately, you know, God also knows, He gave me time to actually start seeing that backwards He protected me. Backwards, my cousin wasn't injured. Backwards, He is a God who will restore. And trust me, He has restored me over and beyond what was taken. So the tip that I'm giving you today on this day 3 of my 5 years in Godfidence is, are you able to stand with God when it doesn't look the way you expect it to look? Because in this relationship, God doesn't change. He remains our provider. He remains our refuge. He remains our strong tower. He remains the one who carries our burdens. So yes, you might have buried your child. Yes, you might have buried your parent. Yes, they might have robbed you. Yes, you might have lost that job. But God remains God. Remain in that sacred place and let Him give you peace in the only way that He can give you peace. Tomorrow, story number